Waiting for mine to pop up. What's up? Y'all see that miss? I got my workbench looking like Tools and Tactics back here. I just got done. I worked until about 4:30 and went in and took a shower and stuff, so I didn't have time to clean up all my junk. I'll be glad whenever I get that done enough where I've got the garage door on it where the stuff I'm using to work, like I'll be able to just load it in there and not load it in here. It's been a mess every day. Let's see. What's up, Woodchuck, Clint, Elliott, Parrish, TPG, Matt HMM, Terry Burton, Fargo said, rest in peace, Charlie. Yeah, that's pretty bad. BMCK 2010. What's up, Breaking Free? Decided I was going to go ahead and drink my fits. I've been saving it over here. Kind of wanted it today. What's up, Don Mendenhall? So, yeah, this week I've mostly worked on my building. See, Monday I went to town. I had a commercial customer that the fire marshal, or actually not the fire marshal. So, like in my town, the fire marshal usually goes to most businesses once a year and checks to make sure, you've done fire alarm tests and all that kind of stuff like that, and updated your fire extinguishers. But then every so often, it's not every year, the fire department will actually come and walk through and they start checking stuff like egress and exit signs and all that kind of stuff. The fire marshal's more of a paperwork guy and the fire department's more of a walk around and find stuff people. So they had I think they ended up changing out 9 emergency exit combo lights with remote heads and stuff like that. So I had to go in Monday and do that. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I've worked on the building today. And then tomorrow, I've got to go to town and do a couple of jobs that I've got to do. Cheddar Zaga, I hope it's ice cold. I actually took it from here whenever I went in and stuck it in the freezer in some ice. So it's cold enough. What's up, Chris? What's up, Someway? Cheddar Zaga. Ray's apartment maintenance. I just saw him up there. Ray's apartment / home maintenance. Were they out of key lime pie? Well, I've had this one. This one I've had since we went to St. Louis. It was the one I had left, and I had it sitting out here on my workbench. And I didn't have anything else. I've drunk so much water today from being outside all day. I was like, I just got to have something besides water. Ray's going out on his own in about a year. Yeah, so we finished setting the trusses today. The gable, the end down there, I didn't know if he's going to get it because the front end up here, my driveway's kind of more level. So my skid steer, we rigged up these things on my skid steer. I took some time-lapse video. I might make a video at some point in time. But with there just being 2 of us, there's not really, if I spent the time to film everything, we wouldn't have got anything done. But the front we got up, and it was an ordeal, and I wasn't sure we'd even be able to do the backside because my ground is sloped so much. So then whenever you're driving with the skid steer, you're driving like this. So that makes a big difference. But we got it up there. Non-OSHA approved. We've got it up there, but it's up there. But I've done a time lapse every day this week that I've been working. I've just been moving my camera around. TPG got some new bits. Non-OSHA makes good content. Yeah, if I posted, which it's all time lapse and a little bit far away, so you can't really tell so much. But most of the stuff I've been doing off ladders has been pretty hairy. Definitely wouldn't be able to do it at like a factory or something if you were doing it that way. I remember one time I went to it was a factory in town, and they were wanting some work done in a stairwell, and the guy was like, "Well, how much do you think it's going to be?" It was mostly just changing out some ceiling tiles, like which in a normal situation, if it wasn't in a stairwell, would take you like 30 minutes. You just get up there and change out a couple ceiling tiles, whatever. But I said, with this being a factory, I said it all depends on whether or not you want to lock that bottom door and nobody walks up here while I change out these two ceiling tiles, or we're going to have to set up scaffolding and all kinds of stuff like to do it the right way. So that gets into like a multi-$1,000 couple ceiling tile change. I said, or you can just shut that door and make sure nobody comes in here and I can change that in 10 minutes. Max heading to Germany. I should run down there and help you with shop for the day. I'm trying to we don't have any rain in the forecast for the next like several, I don't remember how many days it is now, but it was like 10 days whenever I first started setting the trusses. And then I got 5/8 sheathing because that's what I wanted. I wanted 5/8 zip sheathing. And my plan was I can get zip sheathing on there, zip tape it. And then if I don't get a roof on it for a while, no big deal, because I'm having to screw into this roof and all kinds of places to get everything braced off right. So I don't want it to really rain now at this point because I might end up getting leaks in here. But the place, none of the places around my area had the 5/8 zip sheathing in stock, so I would have to do the 1/2 inch and then use those clips in between. And I'm just not a big fan of that. So I just got regular 5/8 sheathing. So I'm hoping I can get the fascia boards up, get the roof sheathing on, and then if there's not any rain, I doubt I'm probably going to do the shingling. I think I'm just going to pay somebody because I've got a buddy who always helps us out, and it's really not that any more cost effective for me to do it myself. And I'm probably going to have to go buy like the Milwaukee nailer or something if I was going to do that. But so I'll probably end up just having them sheathe it so that I can get it done before the next time it rains. Because right now, all the rain is coming off of this building into the two sides that I've got the bottom plate secured, so the water can't really get out unless I cut the bottom plate so that water can get out. So I'd love to get this thing just roofed over just so I don't have to worry about, oh man, it's going to rain tonight. Because I was coming out here the last time it rained, I'd have to get a broom out and sit there and push all this water out. So I'm hoping I can get it sheathed and roofed, hopefully in the early next week. And then I met the garage door guy today, so I'm going to stop in there and pay for that tomorrow. And then they said it'd probably be like 2 or 3 weeks. With the cold weather coming soon for all the silicone and caulk tubes, how do you keep them usable during the winter months? That's Don Mendenhall asked that. Whenever it becomes colder, I don't keep as many in my truck as what I normally do. I always keep a tube, but I keep them up there in the cab of my truck in my pack out drawers. So I'll keep like a tube of white big stretch, probably a tube of Lexel, sometimes just some cheaper painter's white caulk or something like that. But I don't keep as much stuff. I just go ahead and keep them in my like I don't keep extras. Basically, I keep them in my house, and then I just refill unless I'm going to a job that I know I'm going to use multiple tubes or something. But then again, I just get them out of my house during the wintertime. I kind of do the same thing with my batteries. I don't keep as many of my batteries in my truck as what I do like the rest of the year either, whenever it gets super cold. Yeah, I got the little Debbie truck off eBay. I wasn't sure what size it was going to be. It's actually like a piggy bank. It's missing the little thing to hold the change, which they said that in the listing, but I wasn't sure how big it was going to be. My plan was I was going to take and just drill some bunch of holes in here and like put screwdrivers in it and just make it a screwdriver holder, but it's not really big enough. Like the only screwdrivers I could really put in it. Let me put that in my pocket or I'll forget that tomorrow. Let's see. This desk is a mess. I've been in here throwing stuff on it all day. My little Klein screwdrivers, I've got some small ones somewhere. What did I do? Oh, here they are. So like these little screwdrivers here, but like even this one, like it's too, like again, I just tried it in here just to see how it'd go. I was going to put a bunch of little holes, but like if I actually hit the bottom, it sticks up, that far. This one actually works if it goes through the little piggy bank hole, but then it would end up hitting my workbench floor. So the only one that really works is the shortest one. Like that would sit in there and not hit the bottom. So it kind of doesn't work for screwdrivers. That's what I didn't know what size it was. It didn't say in the listing, so I was just going by the pictures. The only other thing I thought I could do is like make a, bit holder or something out of it. So I could take like these or something, cut them down and fit it on the top, make it the little Debbie bit truck. Because it's just going to sit in here somewhere. So you guys can ponder on that, what I should do with the little Debbie piggy bank. Could you put used blades in it? Yeah, it would probably fit in that top slot. I say take the top off, cut up the M12 organizers and make it an M12 battery holder. Yeah, you could probably do that. Or I could probably even just drill a couple holes right there big enough for they would fit to that point. Yeah, I'm kind of glad it's this small because I was a little worried it was going to be big. And I was like, I don't have enough room up here for something big. But based on the picture, I thought it was going to be bigger than this. But it ended up being a little bit smaller than I thought. Just leave it alone, Jeff said. At the moment, that's probably the route I'm going to go. Use up those easy red bit holders. I'm not a fan. Magnets very weak. I like them for my bits. Like I keep one in my truck, and then these I just throw stuff in here as I come in here because all the time. This is like even today. I'm using my vest with a magnet on it. I swap back and forth from Phillips 2 to T25 to I was using some of the GRKs that are like probably a T30 or something. I don't remember what they were. But at the end of the day on my vest, I just take them off and stick them on that thing. Use it as a bank, save gold coins until you have enough to buy a Milwaukee battery. Clint must have asked something about garage doors. 2 garage doors or moving one from the old to the new one. Now, it'd be 2 garage doors. This right here is going to stay exactly how it is, other than it's going to get a new face because the face is going to tie into the rest of it. And then I'll be cutting a opening in the wall over there behind me to get into a new section over there for storage. And then hopefully all this basically is going to help me to where I can declutter all this because I got so much stuff. And basically what I want in this building right here is the stuff that I load up in my truck for actual jobs and stuff like that. And then like down there, I'll keep all the stuff that's home stuff, and then stuff that I probably don't use that often. Like even if it is something I might would pack up for my job, but it's something I don't use pretty regularly, I'll probably put in the other garage or in this new little area over here. So basically I'll be able to get rid of a lot of the stuff that's in here to make it so it's not so cluttered in here. Put a big hole in a bottle koozie, and now it's a drink holder. No building tour yet. Lots of progress. Yeah, I like I said, I've been setting up the time lapse camera during the days, but again, it's just me and my buddy. I mean, if you two guys setting trusses and especially putting on we put on the gable ends with the sheathing and the fly, what do you call them, fly rafters or whatever, all at the same time, like all of it already on there, zip tape, the whole 9 yards, so we wouldn't have to be doing that off ladders, and then doing that with the skid steer and trying not to kill ourselves. It's like that's definitely not a carry a camera around and sit there and mess with batteries all day, all that kind of stuff. So I have been doing time lapse though. So at some point in time, whenever it gets to maybe where it's just me doing work and I'm just doing stuff that I'm not on a time crunch because I'm trying to get to a point where it's not going to be raining on me or whatever else, I might start filming some of it, and then maybe I'll go back and like do a voiceover of from the beginning to that point at that video or something like that. That's kind of what I've been thinking as I've been doing filming, but I don't really have a plan for it or anything. Glue the county com pin holder on the top. It might be a little big. That would look like one of those storm chaser, Little Debbie tornado chaser. Like one of them Little Debbie weather trucks. Get a double-ended vessel or Milwaukee, you have a Phillips 2 and a T25 1 bit. Saw your video on bit holders. I would highly recommend the PB Swiss. Yeah, that was probably the most, as far as people recommending bit holders. There was a lot of people saying PB Swiss, and I commented on there a lot of times. There's a lot of times where I just get on Amazon and I just search Klein tools or Veritools, Knipex, all kinds of stuff. I just have certain brands, and I'll just scroll down through there and be looking at tools. And PB Swiss just doesn't come to my mind a lot, but I need to start looking at it more. What mic am I using? Hey, buddy, this one is the Holly Lark, something along that lines. Holly Land. And this one is I can't remember, the Lark M2. So it is Lark, but it's Holly Land, and it's the Lark M2 is the model number. This one came with two. It also has this, which you can use with a auxiliary, like a 3.5 jack. And then it also comes with a thing, which I've got my phone now with USB-C, and a thing for the lightning cable as well. I got it on sale. I also had that brand before. This is the newer model. I've got the DJI minis that work with my DJI camera. I haven't hooked them up to my phone yet to try it. I tried it actually. I was going to do it one time, and apparently I got to download something in the app, and I didn't have time to do it. I think I was going to try it on a live, and I couldn't get it to work. So I haven't ever spent the time to figure that out. But I've got the DJI minis too, which they do sound good as far as on the DJI. Some way had my first regular bit holder failure last week. Yeah, many people have told me that little end breaks, which I don't clip mine on the outside of my bag as much as like whenever I first got them, that's what I was doing. And I just don't like a lot of stuff hanging on the outside of my bag most of the time. So I just started putting mine down in pockets. So that's probably why I haven't had a problem with it. But I could see if you got it like snagged on something and it pulled real hard, definitely could happen. What's up, Killtronics? Yeah, it was pretty hot today, like sunny. I'm brown as get my farmer's tan like I'll get out from working outside. Got a big bruise right there. My face is pretty red too, probably. Washington Commanders versus the Green Bay Packers tonight. What y'all thinking? Green Bay looked pretty tough last week. Wasn't it Green Bay and Dallas last Thursday? So Green Bay's got like 2 Thursday games in a row. Killtronics had attic work today. It's not like the temperature's not been bad here, but the sun today was really beaming for some reason. Like that's what was getting me today. And it was making I was getting sweat in my eyes real bad. And it was just, the sun was just blaring at us all day long. Green Bay beat the Lions on Sunday. Well, who was the Thursday? Okay. They played the Lions. It was the Cowboys last Thursday. I was thinking the Cowboys played the Packers. So it was the Cowboys, and who'd they play last Thursday? I don't remember. Eagles. Yeah, that's right. Abraham said the school he's working at lost power yesterday. Classes were canceled today, and it made the news. Everyone blamed us. The dudes digging piers chewed up wires and said nothing and just left it. Yeah, my garage is a disaster. But I get every bit of this back out the next day. So tomorrow, which, like I said, tomorrow I got to go do some work to make some money to pay for the garage. So got 3 doors I'm going to fix in the morning at a house that aren't shutting right or something. And then I got to go to a doctor's office and hang a bunch of artwork, put together some shelves, and I give him a quote on adding a wall somewhere, but I don't know what that is yet. Chiefs and Chargers last Friday in Brazil. Yeah, Chargers look pretty good too. It's always hard to tell week 1 though, because you don't know how good a team is or was it how bad the team was that they were playing. The Bills Ravens game was a really good game. I can't believe the Ravens lost that game, but it was a good game. Abraham was out digging, but no tan because he was covered head to toe. Michael said, I'm in a tool buying slump. Nothing has caught my interest lately. That happens from time to time. Like there's times, that's why I said there's times where like it seems like, man, I'm spending almost more money than what I'm making on tools. But then there's times where I go for a long time and I don't buy any for a long time. Like I might buy little stuff or something like a bit holder or something just because I find something. But as far as like big purchases, power tools and stuff like that, like it's been few and far between that I've found a good deal on a power tool that's made me want to buy it. Yeah, the Makita blower is expensive. Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't, because I thought about buying it. I kept watching, like, again, I watch Awesome Framers every Saturday. They usually have a video, and he uses that all the time. That's where I kind of first started seeing it. And I thought, man, that would be kind of nice to have that, on certain things that you're doing. Set it on your miter saw stand, something like that. But I looked at the price on it because I was like, well, I'll buy it and buy a battery adapter and use my Milwaukee batteries with it. But I didn't want to spend that kind of money on it. Jeff said, anybody get the $100 glitch on the M12 batteries? That's been all over Facebook of people complaining they didn't get it and people did get it. Michael's waiting for a deal on the M12 radio, not the speaker, but the radio. Yeah, I saw the speaker being hackable, but again, I don't like Bluetooth. I don't like messing with it. Not that I mind using it or anything. I just don't like messing with it. I just like turning on the radio. So I love the M12 radio though. Some way got his for 140. You talking about, I'm sure, the Makita blower some way. Pie guy's gonna let us know more. I'm more curious about the sound of it more than anything. Like, I'm sure the blowing part of it's gonna be fine. Like, it's gonna be usable and all that kind of stuff. I'm just curious how loud it is. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I've had my see, the whoop box isn't very loud. It does kind of have a little bit of a dentist drill sound to it, but it's nowhere near like that Maleef blower. The Maleef blower is pretty loud. Like, it's good for the price and everything. Like, if you're going to use it, especially if you're already, if you're running saws and wearing earplugs and stuff anyways, but it's pretty loud. Like, I'll just say that out front. I don't know if I've not heard the Makita one in person. I've only seen it in the videos. And again, sometimes, just like right now, this might not even sound like anything to you because it's going through my mic, or it's also the phone is like canceling out some of it because it does that with loud noise sometimes. So you can never really go by what you watch a tool like sound wise, unless somebody's got maybe one of them decibel machines or something rather than they're sticking it up next to it. There goes the cat on my lap. So must come out pretty good. HD has the special with the M12 spot blower, 2 M12 batteries. It's not bad if I guess that's this thing. I use it to blow off this and over there and stuff because it doesn't just, like, I could do this, grab your cat's mat, but and it would blow all the dust and stuff off of that, but then not blow like everything off of it. If I got my M18 out and just hit the trigger, half this stuff would go flying all over the place. So that's kind of what this one's for. And if you're getting it with 2 batteries for $129, that's not bad. I wouldn't pay regular price for this just because it's not as usable to me. Well, come on. Fend off the hummingbirds. The M18 blower, I don't have any of the newer ones. Like mine's one of the, I think mine's the original one, I guess, like the first one. It's awesome. Like for, I mean, blowing out like this garage or your miter saws and table saws off. I mean, even to blow off your driveway, it's really good. Mm-mm. I changed out a garbage disposal Saturday, I guess. Yeah, I went and did it Saturday just because I knew it was going to be easier for me to do it on Saturday. It was going to rain and stuff. And I got in there and it was an easy garbage disposal change out because it was, I went and looked at it like the day before, or week ago, or whatever it was. And uh, it was like completely locked up. I told him, I said, you just got to get a new one. But I got the same exact one. So it's a matter of just, changing it out. Nothing, I didn't have to change any plumbing or any of that stuff. But of course, while I was in there, it was an old Delta faucet. It had, I don't know if you've probably dealt with these. It's got the two little black plastic pieces and then the little wire clip that kind of snaps whenever you push up the hoses into the faucet. Well, his sprayer handle had a few little drips coming from it. I was like, well, I guess I could see if I could fix whatever that is. Like while I was in there, I noticed it. And as soon as I started messing with it, I was like, man, I should not have touched this. It just turned into an ordeal, but I finally got it. I found one O-ring up inside of there that had a little nick in it. That's what was causing it. But it's just, I hate taking that little wire clip out and those two black plastic pieces. That's kind of the dumbest setup I've ever seen on faucets. And Delta had them for a long time that way. It's just really, it's a pain to get them off up in there behind the sink. And then it's really a big pain to like put it back together. You mean it wasn't available, rusty piece of crap? What's up, Ted? If you use a drill and chisel, you can remove the bottoms of the bin insert on the Klein ProFlex box to get a little more space. You can do that on the mod boxes too, like all the mod boxes, because I've got one I keep in my truck that I took the insert out of it, and I just use it for like random bits and stuff like that. Because here's the whatever this one was. I took this insert out of the mod box. I can't remember. I think this was like I can't remember what came in this one. I know it was a bunch of bits and a handle. I want to say maybe a flip socket shaft or something. I don't remember what was in there, but you can take them out of that too. But yeah, you can get in these things. You can tell that they're popped down in there. Like if you really wanted to get that out, you can get in there and get it out. I probably will do that maybe on one of them. Just use it for smaller stuff. My old Metabo triple hammer's been getting a workout this week though. I decided I was just going to use it the whole time so I didn't have to keep getting stuff in and out of my truck. I just got it out of my truck and been leaving it in here. So that's all I've been using for the framing and all that stuff. Don't do it to the back middle one though, or the spring won't stay. Use my DeWalt lifting jacks quite a bit over the last little bit to get stuff exactly where I want it. They come in handy a lot. I like so it's like one of those Viking arms or whatever, I had a video talking about which one should I buy. I'm glad I bought the DeWalt ones. I wish they were a little smaller in size, but as far as function wise, I think they're the best ones just because of the way you squeeze it. But there's all kinds of times where we were using these to get the trusses exactly where we wanted them or, whatever, but where you can very small amount of adjustment right there just by barely squeezing. Then you can also lower it back down. But I've used these quite a bit in the last little bit. because that's like even like on the garage door header, I basically put blocks inside the door opening to where I could set the header up on top of those, but not have to get it right in place. And then I just stick that in there and crank it up to where I wanted it and then put screws in it. It basically makes it really, really nice when you have limited amount of people. Because again, it's just been me and my buddy, and setting these trusses has been an ordeal for two people. And he's been working. He's been working like a dog. Why is the torch out on the table? Burning some cutoffs and all that kind of stuff. That's what I use to start my fires. I think that's the last thing I used it for. I did use it on whenever I ran my PVC for the my electric and stuff out here to get it to go exactly where I wanted it on a few little bitty curves. But I think the last thing I used it for was to start a fire. Don Schlop laminated. I don't know. What was I talking about for laminated beams? Maybe is that what you're talking about? No, I just did three 2x12s. I really only needed 2, but I put in 3 because I had them and I wanted to fill in my space. It's only it's a 10-foot opening. And then all my trusses are spanning the whole. I had them made to span the whole entire building, so it's a 30-foot span on those, but they're all engineered to span the whole 30-foot. I probably still will put something across in the newer section just because I'm probably going to put stuff up in there. But man, I've got a ton of room, like way more than I thought I was going to have, like up above, even like this right here. Because I was curious if I don't know that I'm going to need to insulate it for sound, because that's the only reason why I'd even insulate it's for sound. But with me putting the shingle roof on, I think that's going to change the rain noise problem. But didn't know how much room I was going to have between my scissor truss and this roof. So I didn't know if I was going to have to put insulation in there before I put the sheathing on and then have it in there type thing. But I got tons of room to be able to get up there. Matter of fact, I could probably even make cubbies and stuff around the outside up on the roof of this if I want to put like totes and stuff. There'll be all kinds of room for stuff. Miss Maintenance said the building's much larger than I imagined. Nobody loves Mr. Massey more than me because I couldn't do what he's done. I have my limitations as a helper. Yeah, and it's worked out because he's been crawling all over the roof of this, and like I wouldn't have done it because it's just basically metal stretched over some poles. I mean, it probably would hold me okay, but I'm just like, no. And he's been all over that stuff, but he's a lot smaller than me. Little Debbie storage. Yeah, we might wait till closer to the end. I'll see if we can go on a tour and see how bad I lose you guys. Last time I lost you, so I'm not going to do it till the beginning or towards the end. So that way, if I lose you, we'll just say it's going to be the end of the stream. But Don's got a red iron straddle span, 30 by 40 by 12 on the ground, no foundation. Yeah, that's kind of what this one's going to overall, but it's not going to be like one building. My overall, it's going to look like one building from the outside. Overall, it's going to be roughly 30 by 40 with a little bit of a porch overhang just to keep the rain from hitting my doors and stuff that I've got here now, and to keep the sunlight from coming in these windows. And then this ceiling's not going to change, but I do have a 12-foot ceiling on my addition part of it. But I did concrete on the new part, and then footers, slab, and then footers, and then block, and then poured a slab inside of the block, and then the block only 4 foot. Let's see what I do. Yeah, 4 foot up, and then the rest of it's 2x6 walls. and then I poured concrete off to the side of this to get to match the new 30. It's very hard to make that make sense saying it, but you have to see. Running a table saw that height is crucial. Yeah, that's like I said, that area down there is going to be nice too, because like I can work on vehicles down there, and I can have the stuff down there instead of having it in here with my other work stuff. Also, if I normally I don't really work on like every now and then I'll make stuff for people for my job. Like they'll want something, I've got to use my tools here to build whatever it is, a little cabinet or whatever. And but most of the time I roll out the garage door because I don't want to have all the dust and all that stuff in here, and I don't have dust collection in here. That's how I've just always done it. But it will be nice, like if I'm staining something or painting something or doing whatever, I could set it up down in there and not have it again all up in my business in here. Because like right now I can't even move in here just because I'm working on that, and that's just how it gets sometimes. Gonna add a 2-post lift if you have the height. No, I wouldn't want to lift like that, because then other people know you have it. It's kind of like having a truck and people want to have you help them with your truck. You get a 2-post lift, people be asking if they can come over and use your lift. Not that I would necessarily care. It's just I don't do that. I don't do that much mechanic work. There was a guy talking about building a building over a building in the KCF Discord. Thought of you. You're running out of room yet, Don? Kinda. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff. It's more so if I really weeded through this. I mean, I've got too much stuff, but I like having my stuff because it's just like right now, there's all sorts of stuff that building this garage I haven't even had to buy because I've already got it here, whether it's screws, nails, fasteners of all sorts or whatever, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm one of those where there's certain things where I don't like getting rid of it because I'll end up being able to make money with it one day, or it's going to save me money doing something for myself. So you need a tour that isn't alive, and then you won't lose signal like an actual short video. That's what I said. Eventually, at some point, it's going to be. I'm not worried about getting from point A to this point. Like right now, I'm more concerned with getting the roof on before it rains again. Because I've got a lot of holes in this roof now where I've tied off stuff to it and all that kind of stuff for the roof that's on top of it. And then the two sides over here are kind of enclosed in to where all the water that would rain on this roof, even if it does run down, is going to go into those. There's really no way for it to get out because it's kind of inside now. So then I got to mess with figuring out a way to get that out all the time. So I'm kind of in a hurry mode to get to that point. Once I'm at that point, I might start filming like some work. And then, like I said, I could do here's how I got to this point and show all the little video clips and the time lapses and stuff I filmed up to this point for just in case I did make a video. What's up, Kearney Creek Farm? Mac Murphy, let's see. I had a truck for less than a week and had already been asked if you can help me move. Somebody said there are folding pipe clamp wall mounts. You can set them at several angles and down flat when not in use. Yeah, right now I don't have a ton of pipe clamps, but I keep them I've got some over here sandwiched between the edge of my shelves basically. But that's another thing. Like I'll be able to put ladders, scaffolding, all that kind of stuff like down there. And then that will free up our other building, which is Miss Maintenance's building, where she'll be able to better organize all her stuff. It's like an all-day pregame on Discord. Don Shop, are you a contractor? Yes, I'm So for back whenever I first started this channel, I was working for a place. I did maintenance for a campus for 20 years, and then, well, right at like 17 years, something like that. And in between there, I did also some commercial construction project management for a couple of years in that time frame. But now I'm my own business. I'm a general contractor, specialty contractor, I guess is what you call it, which would be a subcontractor. But I mostly do by myself what you might would call handyman slash maintenance jobs, just small stuff. And then me and the same buddy that's helping me with my garage, he's his own business too. And I help him on bigger jobs. He helps me on bigger jobs. So we still do bigger jobs like full remodels, but mostly in commercial, not a lot of residential. Kiltronic said I sold my scaffolding today. I've only got some of the like rolling scaffolding, like the metal tech or whatever it's called, the yellow where you roll it around and you can adjust it. That's the only kind I have. I don't have the kind like you set up on the outside of buildings or anything. Because again, I mostly do interior work usually. Like this that I'm doing right here, isn't something that I would even be doing for somebody else as a customer. Like I would be setting trusses and all this kind of stuff. It's not my it's not my normal wheelhouse. Maybe Miss Maintenance, if she's still watching, she can bring me a smart water. I about had a stroke looking at the cost of a rigid K400. I'll get more than I paid for it. Well, that's just like I was telling Matt and Clint the other day. The Kinepix blackout. I think it was Kaiwi. Kaiwi sent it to me originally. So the pliers wrench, this one right here. Let's see. Yeah, this Kinepix pliers wrench right here, the black handled one. And I think I still got the box. I'm gonna look and see. Yeah, I do. So so this thing right here in the box is going for $285 on eBay. Almost makes you want to stick that in the box and put it on eBay. Now that Miss Maintenance has heard that, she'll probably tell me to stick it in the box and put it on eBay. But that's crazy. Thank you. Can't can't get caught up on my thirst. I sweat like a beast today. I'm sure I'm dehydrated. Tap water in the smart bottle. Yep. I just like these bottles, so I keep them. I buy these. These are what I normally get. If if I go to a gas station to get water, these are the ones I normally get. Don works HUD low income, elderly maintenance and flipping units about 8 years. Government inspections are nerve wracking. Yeah, I just did me and my buddy just did some remodeling for a recruitment center, but we were kind of like subcontractors because the contractor is the one who always does the work for them. So he hired us to basically do the work, and he just kind of was the in between middleman type guy. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff even dealing with that where like stuff had to be very specific and all kinds of stuff. How dare you don't sell tools? I ain't planning on selling it. I did look though, because sometimes people have stuff on eBay for crazy prices, but there was one that said one sold on it or whatever. So somebody bought one at that price. Michael said, I have no idea how Discords work. Yeah, I don't either. I downloaded it the other day because somebody made a page. So, like, there is a page, and he said he'd set it up and all that. And I joined it, but I don't think he's finished it or whatever. And I only got on it just to log into it because he sent me a link, but I haven't looked into it. Someone wanted scaffolding, metal tech, and they were paying $300 per, so I sold him 4 sets. I've only got one set, and I got it on Home Depot deal of the day one day for pretty cheap. I don't remember what it was. It was a really good deal, though. As a matter of fact, I sent it to my buddy, and he bought one too, and he already had some, but he bought another set. Every now and then, whenever I'm doing grid ceilings, especially if you've got help, it's nice to have one of those set up, and you can kind of just roll yourself. If it's a wide open room, you can just kind of roll yourself around the room and somebody handing you up the tees and all that kind of stuff. It's the way to go. Yeah, every single exit LED combo thing I put in was a customized, get the wires into the thing. It was funny how they had done all of them. Not a single one of them was the same, which some of them were really super old. Like some of them were still red light bulbs inside of the inside for the exit light. It was actually like the red light bulbs that were in it. So some of them had been there for quite some time. They probably haven't had the fire department walk through for who knows how long. So far, the Metabo nails have been shooting pretty good in the Milwaukee framing nailer. I bought that box of 1,000 to try and went through them in no time, and then I bought a box of the 5,000. I've got them sitting here, but they've been doing pretty good. Can you use Discord on a Mac? I have no idea. I'm sure somebody knows. I also got a job next week where somebody's got some window stop that was on a circle window that somebody tried piecing it in with wood at some point in time. I don't know if they changed out the window, like changed out the glass or something. So I got to go change that out one day. Ordered this. I've never really put it in before, but it's a flexible window stop for curved stuff. So I got to do that next week. I could probably do it tomorrow, but I just told her I don't. Every time I go to that doctor's office to do work, they always have more than whatever it was that they told me. So I usually plan extra time. Is Saturday the Guess the Trades? Yeah, typically it's on Saturday. I haven't filmed one yet for this week, so I don't have anything up yet. I still got to film one for this week. So hopefully I can do that maybe tomorrow. I've been pretty well zapped every day whenever I've got done working. Up and down ladders, up and down ladders, up and down ladders all day for the last 3 days. Some of these whippersnappers know what film is. I haven't recorded one of those, the Guess the Trade. Dawn Shop, Rolling Scaffolding. Yeah, that's what I've got. I don't have any of the like kind you use outside. Somebody use that flexible base. Yeah, they sell base in that same brand for that. A lot of people use it for. Terrible if the drywall and the floor is uneven. What about the new Klein set with the 1/4-inch ratchet? Is Tools and Tactics the only one that got it? I guess so. I don't know if they sent him all that stuff or if just that or what. I'm not sure. I never email them and ask them to send me stuff. Like, they just occasionally send me stuff. And then sometimes they'll email me and ask me before, like, is this something that you'd be interested in? But I don't ever like email them and say, hey, will you send me this? I don't know that he's done that either, but I'm just saying, I don't know if he knew that it was out there and asked him for it, or if they just sent it to him, or I haven't seen anybody else have it though. And I haven't even seen the, like a SKU for it either. So I think he lives close to Klein. He said they come to his house. I think he does live in Texas. I think. I'm not positive about it, but I do think so. So he might. Click like and subscribe, folks. Appreciate that some way. Corey Massey said, wait till you're 63. So Corey Massey is the guy who's helping me, which that's not his name, but he's the guy who's helping me on the garage. We've got ourselves in a couple predicaments in the last couple of days. Mostly because, again, two people, I mean, lifting up them trusses, which the trusses actually didn't go that bad. It was the two ends, putting them up there, because the way that we were able to get all the other ones up there, I was having to take we basically extended the forks that I bolt onto my bucket with some 2x4s and all that kind of stuff. And then, but that was putting the forks over into above the wall, and then we could just scoot them off. But of course, the end ones, you can't do that. And then we wanted to sheathe them and put the fly rafters on and all that kind of stuff first. And that made them heavier, which I was actually surprised that it would even pick it up and then not make me tilt forward once I got up that high. Oh, now you read my comment. But Corey said, wait till I'm 63. Yeah, you wouldn't know he was 63 by the way he works. "63 years old, and he's almost learned most of the stuff that I know." He's laughing right now. Why didn't a man just support it on the bottom with a 2x4 while it's on the forks? We were the last one. We ended up finally getting it up there, and then we bolted screwed a 2x4 to it, got it with the bucket, and kept pushing up on it at the peak to try to get it up over the wall that last little bit. It was something else. I haven't watched the time lapse on it yet. It's over here on my DJI because like I said, as soon as I got cleaned up, I went inside and took a shower and came right back out here. I just quit working about the time to start this. So I haven't even watched the time lapse of what it actually looks like, what we did today, but I know it was an ordeal. Somebody did that with a cherry picker tractor at one neighborhood, rig forks to the basket to load appliances upstairs. Yeah, it works pretty good. Like, I've got some actual like steel forks that it's got like a U on it. You slide it onto the end of the bucket and clamp it down, and then it's got like two little metal braces that kind of keeps them from spreading apart, but they're not very long, and they weren't long enough to support the truss. So we had to screw some like 6-foot 2x4s onto them and make that work out. And it worked out fine. Like I said, it worked out really good. The biggest problem over here was the ground is sloped like pretty drastically. So as you're driving, trying to lift up, your whole truss is doing that too. So we had to do all kinds of stuff to try to get it up there right. We got it figured out though. Where there's a will, there's a way. Beam heavy enough to support hummingbird feeders. I'm probably going to put a couple of those out here on my porch. My little porch is about a 4-foot wide porch, I guess. Or overhang. It's not really a porch, I guess. I'd call it an overhang. Miss Maintenance has been at work making money to pay for all this stuff. Yeah, hearing about before it gets dark, so probably about 7:15 or so, 7:15-ish. We'll try going around looking at it. And then if I lose you, we'll call that the end of the live. Matt said my M12 stapler got to work out today. Yeah, you said you were doing Tyvek. I'll tell you, the zip, in my opinion, I don't know well enough how long it works over the big scheme of things, but working with it, like not having to do the wrap and all that kind of stuff and dealing with it, especially, I think more so than anything, especially if you're a person like what I'm doing right now, it just buys you more time to be kind of weathered in just by putting that up there and putting that tape on there. I would really love to put it on my roof, and then I wouldn't have had to worry about, hey, I got to get somebody out here to get some shingles on this or whatever. But nobody had the 5/8, and I don't want to do 1/2 inch. So my sign up there says you don't realize how many people you don't like until you have to name a baby. So if you had, what is a name that you would not name a baby, and why is that? Like, who's that person in your life where you're like, if somebody said, hey, we could name our baby this, you'd be like, Clint said, don't say Juan. Matt said, I wish there was less delay on chat to people seeing it. Well, that's just like there's a big delay between like me saying what I'm saying right now and then it being on this screen that I'm watching. So then it makes it weird. Like I can't ever go like, here, look at this, and like be looking at my screen and seeing like there's it's like probably like 10-15 seconds almost. So like sometimes I have no idea if you guys are actually seeing something right. Somebody said chlamydia. Yeah, that'd be wouldn't make sense to name somebody that. Usually it's because somebody had like a ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or a teacher they really hated that had a certain name, or a boss or a coworker. Jeff said, it's funny, I've always just liked the name Patrick, but now I bought a company named Patrick. Must be karma. I've got a cousin named Patrick. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, that's somebody said Donald. I wouldn't use a goat poker name. The ex from hell was Francis. That's out. I don't really think of I can't think of anything off the top of my head that like that would be because like somebody I know. I mean, there's obvious ones like horrible people in history and all that kind of stuff, but it is something where you got to think about like because typically there's always a name where even though you might know 10 people with the same name, but there's always one that you think of usually whenever you hear that name. So you don't want to name somebody that's close to you that knowing that that's going to be something you think of. Corey said JV. He wouldn't name somebody JV. Doesn't like his own name. Archibald. It's starting to get a little bit dark out there. Well, we're going to grab the phone and we're going to go for a tour. And then we'll see. So if I lose you, I lose you. Y'all have a good rest of your week. And hopefully I'll get a guest to trade recorded tomorrow. I actually kind of slipped up on me. I just now, good thing somebody mentioned that or I'd have forgot. I think it's going to start coming together for y'all, though, as far as what it's going to be. Man, get off that magnet. Make sure I haven't lost the microphone. Yep. So out here, one of the ends. Out here is probably where I'll end up losing you. So this one will be just an overhang off of my existing building. So basically overhang, it's about 4 feet basically, but that's just to keep the weather off of my garage door and my man door and keep the sunlight out. So this side over here will be storage for this building. Normally I go to this side whenever it gets a little hairy. This side over here will be storage for the newer building, the newer back half. So that's how you'll get to that one. So we're going to go far. We'll see how this goes. Look how straight this wall is. What's up, Billy? So it'll be 10 by 10 garage door here. Single window and also the window in that. That's for mismaintenance purposes. So that's from this side. We'll see how far I can get away. Again, I can't zoom in and out. So hard for me to get. Jeff just said, and we're out. We'll see if we get back. Went too far. I'm sure I'll go out if I go up this way. So here it will be from this side. glitching. I don't know if I'm out or back in or not. I knew once I walked away from the bed. See, I got to walk out pretty far to get to where you can see very much, because the zoom on the live, they don't let you change it. Like whenever I'm filming something, video, we heard nothing said about the back portion. Well, that one's basically that one's got 12-foot tall ceiling height, which it's crazy how much more room I have above this roof. Like I didn't expect to have as much as what I got, but like I said, one day maybe maybe I'll get the footage that I've got out and see if I can make something and do a at the end of it, this is where I'm at type thing at some point. But you just glitched out on the back addition parking area where you drop out, which is weird because I moved my mesh thing kind of back to that back corner to see if that would help and push me more out that way, but I guess not. Big fly in here somewhere. Sounds like a hummingbird, but it's a big fly. Weekly shorts update. Almost have room for a mezzanine back there. Yeah, I'm going to park my enclosed trailer in there, which would be about a fourth of the quadrant, and then that way it can be out of the weather. And then if I absolutely need all that space for like a job or something, I can easily, pull it out and leave it sitting outside or do whatever. That's where I'm going to put it in there. But I'll have room up above for sure. C Crane Wi-Fi extender. I'm going to put, once I get that, I'll probably actually, like, if I get the roof on, I'll probably go ahead and bring a mesh box out here and put it in the new one, and then maybe see how that works out. Because I just haven't ran anything out there because I don't want to leave it sitting outside. So I might do that. Flies, now you need a couple of swallows to catch them, or maybe some bats. It got dark kind of fast. It must be getting darker a little earlier. Yeah, I was hoping, which I didn't move my Wi-Fi for the purpose to see if it would work better back there. I actually pulled my Wi-Fi cable back and then ran it in the conduit that I put in the ground, because while I was running the conduit for the electrical service, I went ahead and put a conduit in the ground so that I'd be able to pull internet cable back and forth in case something happens to mine. And then it just was easier for me to put it over there temporarily until I get everything straightened out. Getting dark here too. I hear that happens. Time for kickoff and maybe some popcorn. I don't know if I can have anything salty. I'm already thirsting to death. I'm gonna say Green Bay is gonna win, but it's gonna be a pretty close game, I think, because Washington's pretty good too. But like I said, it's hard to tell after week one. Like after watching Green Bay week one, you'd be like, daggone, they're pretty good. But again, they could have just, the Lions could have just had a horrible game. You never know. I know you said I should have some salt. That's what Miss Maintenance tells me too. She bought some kind of new salt, Baja salt or something like that. I guess that's all the rage. I don't know. We've got 15,000 different kinds of salt in the house, from sea salt to Himalayan salt to Celtic salt to Baja salt. And then we got the kind with the little umbrella lady, the normal stuff. But I guess I'll get off here and go in there and watch some football with Miss Maintenance. Probably look and see who's going to be the next person on the guest of trade. Make sure I got the stuff organized so that if I get home tomorrow, maybe I can film that. But we'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all have a good rest of your week. It's almost Friday, if that means anything. Sometimes in our profession, Fridays means nothing, but sometimes it means stuff. I'm at the age where it's pretty good. Fridays is I'm not working on Saturday unless I decide to, but I get that not all of us can do that sometimes. So, but we'll see y'all on the next one. It's going to take me 10 minutes to get around here, around all my stuff to turn the